Get ready.
This is the voice of Wayne America.
Lighten up, Francis.
With your host,
Hi ho, Kermit the Frog here.
Mike Carnes.
How do you measure yourself with other golfers? By height.
Only at WayneAmerica.com.
The supernova's gonna kill us all.
Okay, this guy is the real zero, that's true. Let's just think back when you guys were freshmen, huh?
.com.
Greetings from Wayne America. This is the Voice of Wayne America podcast, an exclusive here at WayneAmerica.com. I'm your host, Mike Carnes, and every week here on the Voice of Wayne America podcast, we sit down with somebody who has some kind of connection to the best community in all of America, and that, of course, is Wayne America. And we want to thank our sponsors, including AKA 142 Media and also Mikey C Productions. Your business can also be mentioned here on the podcast. You can email me at mike@mikeycproductions.com for more information. You know, it's kind of funny as we sit down to do this interview. We did this interview on Monday of this week, and it actually coincided with the 25-year anniversary of Johnny Carson's last Tonight Show in 1992. And at that time, Rocky Ruhl was finishing up his fifth year as a coach here at Wayne High School. And now here we are 25 years later, and Rocky is finally following Johnny out the door. He's retiring from his duties here at Wayne Community Schools after a 30-year career that has included teaching, coaching, athletic director, school administrator. I think he may have done some janitorial duties at one time or another, and I'm sure he's probably been a bus driver at some point as well. So he's done quite a bit here over the last 30 years. We thought that with school getting out this week that we'd give Rocky the proper send-off here on Voice of Wayne America and look back on 30 years of involvement in the Wayne High athletic program. Rocky, does it seem like it's been 30 years?
No, it seems like yesterday I started. It's when you have a great place to work, when you like to come to work and it's fun, you don't think about time. So, when you start thinking back and you talk to people and, oh, that happened then, or wow, that is longer than I thought, those kind of things. So.
Did you watch Johnny Carson that night?
I think I did. I think I can remember watching
I did
a lot
too.
of Johnny Carson. Yeah.
I was in a hotel room in Omaha that night. It was the first day of state track that broadcast happened. So I can remember it vividly.
Yeah. I was always worried about who was going to replace him, I guess. That's the thing. Nobody could replace Johnny.
I think 25 years later, they still haven't found a replacement for him. So.
Yeah.
But I know that a lot of people don't know this, but your wife, Sylvia, you both are retiring at the end of this school year. And she's actually got 3 years on you here. She started here 3 years before you did, and so she's also got a lot of experience here teaching in the school district, and I know that obviously you two have met through this opportunity, and I know that some people are saying the only reason that they hired you is because Sylvia wanted to make sure she knew where you were at night while she was at home grading English papers, but
that could be right.
But talk about how you and Sylvia met and how that kind of led to you getting here in the first place.
Well, we both are graduates of Exeter High School. And she graduated actually a year behind me. We dated some in high school and then got back together in college. She did it the right way. She went to York College out of high school and played volleyball and basketball. So she was a college athlete there, played 2 years of both. And then she went on to University of Nebraska and got done in 2 years. And at that time, I had gone to Doane College to play football my first year out. I graduated in '79. She graduated in '80. And then I decided, well, I didn't know if I liked the school part, so I worked construction for my uncle for a while. And then decided it was time to go back to school. And when we decided we'd get married, and we were looking for places for her to go to get a job. She got a job here in Wayne. And it was great because we wanted a college town so I could finish up schooling, and so it all worked out. That's how it all started in terms of schooling and getting here. And so she's teaching at Wayne High School, and I'm going to school at Wayne State, and I'm watching over my shoulder, hoping maybe I can get a job there someday. And after everything went together, I mean, when I graduated in May, it just happened that. There was a math teacher leaving Wayne High School, and I got my chance. So that's where it started.
It's been a great run for both of you here, having been here in the school district for more than 30 years each. And of course, a lot of people know Rocky as the boys basketball coach for a lot of years here. He won over 300 games, took 6 teams to the state tournament there. But and a lot of people, of course, know you as the cross country coach. Not a lot of people realize that you have been the only cross country coach that Wayne High's had in the 30 years. And I know that you had mentioned the athletic banquet. That you had no knowledge of the sport when you took on the responsibility.
Well, that's it. And I think, before I started, I don't know how many years of cross country they had. I think Coach McChesky had done some with boys. The girls, I started from scratch. I've been the only girls coach because the first year Edith Yonke was my first runner, and then we had the likes of Tammy Geiger and some of those girls who came up through and did an excellent job of running for us. But when I started day one, I had a letter from Aaron Wilson saying we were in Bressler Park and running at Bressler Park, and he still remembered day one. And we ran around there for a while, and I think we had 2 15-minute runs or something, and he remembered that too in the letters. So that's kind of where we got started, and lo and behold, I didn't know anything about cross country. Just I'd learned when I got this job that there was no football position, and cross country was open, and I said yes, I'll take it because I knew that'd be helpful in getting the job too. And when I got here, I decided okay. I was always big into going to coaches clinics and things like that, and I started studying up, and the internet wasn't what that we couldn't get on the computer like you can now and come up with all the kinds of stuff you can come up with now. So I went and listened to people at the Nebraska Coaches Clinic and got a lot of good information there. And we also went to in the fall. Dale Hoekstead and I had gone to the Iowa State Track Clinic in December and picked up some information there, and so I met some people there too to kind of send letters to and get some information. And the weirdest thing, though, I think I said at the athletic banquet was my first meet. I had to set up the course, and I didn't know what the course was. And we were having a duel with Sal Sue and Steve Shadle. I think he may have had a map, but he didn't send it to me, soon enough. And Scott Allred is the guy who rode with me in a golf cart and said, "This is where we go," and how it worked and all that good stuff. And I think since then we've probably had, with the building going on, the small community they built out there, with the loop through there, they changed. We used to run right through that, and now it's changed, so we have to kind of go around it. And I think we've had maybe 3 different courses since the one we originally had, but it was an amazing thing.
And I guess the thing I was thinking about was you have had somebody at state. It seems like about every year you've either had an individual athlete or a team at state pretty much about every year since you started, and that's quite an achievement for a coach, not only for a coach but for a program to have that kind of success year in and year out.
Yeah, it's been fun. The tradition, the family, we built it around family, and we've always had an individual or a team, and most of the time there's been a team. That we've had one or the other there since that very first year. The very first year Nick Ingleson made it. It was still 10, and I don't know how, but he got that 10th spot. And at Columbus SCOTUS, we were running there, and he just stepped up and came through. And I can still remember going to state, and we stayed, I think, at the Super 8, and I got him up in the morning and fed him an all-American breakfast at McDonald's and took him to the course. So didn't know much about nutrition then, I think, in terms of I just wanted to get some food. So we don't do that thing anymore, but that was quite something. And from here on out, Todd Fuelberth was one who came up into the high school, then ranks after that, and I think he qualified all 4 years. He and his brother Scott were on the team when we started our district run in terms of 5 district championships in a row, and we really set the tone, kind of, made something out of nothing, I think, in a way. We just got some guys who were interested and who were competitive and wanted to do well, and then the girls came in after that. So it worked out well, and we started to build with the girls team too. And I think we got third in the girls before we moved to Class C. Our girls were third in Class B one year, and it the years I have to go back down and look at my chart, but they all kind of blend, and it's been every year since that we've had we've had kids going out to Kearney in October.
In the 95 and 96 girls teams in Class C won back-to-back state titles. You had Sarah Kenny win an individual title there, I think, in 95, and I think it was third in 96. And those were probably two of the best cross-country teams that you've had on the girls' side over the years.
Yeah, the one year I think the second year we were undefeated. Nobody touched us then. I mean, we went through the season, and everybody was trying to get us, and we were the center of the dartboard there, and everybody was chasing us, and our kids just stepped up and did it. That was the year I think Sarah got third, and she I think probably was undefeated for the year, but that was a situation where you could still have I think people still do smoke cigarettes for cigars and things out on the course, but they're not supposed to. And Sarah had a reaction to some smoke on that day, and she was way out in the lead and fell back and finished, thankfully, and she finished third and still had a great meet. But it was one of those days that it was kind of out of her hands in terms of what happened that day.
Yeah, we're talking with Rocky Ruhl, the retiring athletic director and coach here at Wayne High School, here on Voice of Wayne America. And I wanted to answer the question, what does AKA and AKA 142 Media stand for? It stands for many things, but what's most important is that AKA 142 Media provides awesome kicking apps that can be downloaded to your phone or your tablet. Whether it's your school, your favorite youth sports program, or your local business, AKA 142 Media can build an awesome kicking app that meets your needs. Drop Kevin an email at kevin@aka142.com and tell him that Mike sent you. That's AKA 142 Media, awesome kicking apps. We're talking with Rocky Ruhl here, the retiring athletic director and basketball and cross-country coach here at Wayne High School. Been a part of the school district for 3 decades now, and he and his wife Sylvia are both retiring at the end of this school year. I think the last day for both of them is June 15th, so they got about a few weeks yet to go here, even though school's getting out this week. And I know as somebody who reports on these activities and these athletic programs, I kind of get to see the kids over the course of time and kind of get to watch them grow and develop and become outstanding athletes, by their senior year in high school. But as a coach, you get to see that on a daily basis. You're with them every day in practice. You obviously work with them in the off season, are with them every day at school as well as a teacher and administrator. For you, what's it like to see a kid develop from where you first get him, or where you first start with that boy or girl, to when they get to the end of the line there and they're performing at their peak as a senior in high school? What's it like for you to see that?
Well, that's the ultimate as a coach. I think for me personally, just to see a kid develop, take his and her talent that they may not know they have, or you're trying to press a button and to get them to be to the next level, and it's totally awesome. And after you see that, I mean, they start out and you see something in them, and I don't care who it was. I mean, I always tried to get the most out of everybody. I mean, everybody has an amount of talent that they have, and they can develop that. And I always told kids, I don't care if they were a sprinter or I can't run distance. Everybody can run distance. It's just the mindset and when in cross country you try to get the kids to develop that. And I'll tell you, I mean, for me as a coach, to see kids go from point A to point B and they improve like they do, it is totally awesome. We talk about it every year. I mean, when we start, I'll tell them, okay, here's the step, and what we're going to do during the season is you're going to rise up. You're going to get better throughout the season. Now, what that step is, where you start, is big, because in the summertime we got kids believing in summer workouts, and the first step was higher, because when they come in and train during the season, they always got better and improved, and that was for me. And then when Coach Moss came on as an assistant, that was our that's the best part about the season is saying, wow, they're really coming on here. And you can talk about peak or whatever you want to talk about, but it's just, just the goosebumps you get when you see how the kids have improved and done the things that they can do.
Yeah. Have you given Courtney Moss and Terry Bear going to take over for you next year? Have you given them any advice as to how to carry the program forward here from here on out?
Well, I mean, they always are worried we can't follow that. I said, yes, you can. I said, just do your thing and be positive. I think running's tough enough in cross country to go out and be tough on kids and not believe in them and be negative. And I think if they're positive and they keep the family feel and everybody's in it for each other, I think our teams will get better and better.
I think it's probably one of the things as a coach that I marvel at with you coaches is that every kid has a different personality, and you can't have one mindset with that fits every kid, because every kid will react to that differently. Some kids will react to being yelled at, for example, or will react better to a more quieter approach than that. That's something about dealing with kids that I don't know how you coaches do that sometimes, because it's such a game that you have to play with those kids to get them to compete at their best performance.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, you find out, you try to figure out what kind of button you can push, and you get to know the kids pretty well, and you can push certain people, and you push certain people certain ways. The kid I probably yelled the most at was Reggie and in basketball, and I think one day Nate Finke told him, hey, understand where it's coming from, understand what you're going through, because his dad was here as a football coach too, and it's tough on coaches' kids. A lot of times they get the brunt, and a lot of times, sometimes your frustrations as a coach come out to them, even if it's maybe somebody else on the team you should be yelling at. You're yelling at them because you can yell harder and maybe be meaner. So
because that dad isn't going to come at you after the game, right?
Yeah. His problem is going home and talking to mom. So.
Yeah, she's probably the one you need to watch out for more than the dad, right?
Yeah. There was a story there. There was one time with Reggie in basketball that I said, man, he's just not playing very well right now. It's probably time for him to go to the bench. I think he was starting and brought it up at home, and she said, well, I think you got to look back at that and think about what you're doing, and the mom started to come out in her a little bit, and lo and behold, he made 7 threes the next game, and that kind of went in the wayside then. So we said, oh yeah, he stepped up, so yeah, he was okay.
Well, you've coached a lot of kids over the years here, and I know that reading the paper in past years, and then of course with my work working alongside you and covering your teams and everything, you've had an opportunity to coach a ton of great athletes. And I think of, we mentioned Sarah Kinney earlier with her performance in cross country. And in recent years, I'm thinking of kids like Grant Anderson and Brady Soden and Jalen Berry and some of these kids that played basketball for you as well. And Quentin Jorgensen in cross country. And I'm sure it's really would be a challenge for you to pick a best of the kids you've coached over the years. But I mean, who of those athletes really stands out for you over 30 years?
Well, all the names you said. I mean, there's a Jesse Hill you can throw in there too. There's kids that you bring their name up, we probably have a story. Mm-hmm. That's the thing about it, is each one is unique in their way. The other night they presented me with letters from former players and some coaches, and one was from Grant, and he said how when he was looking at the 7-foot bar, and it was how am I going to make that? And it looked like a giant feat, and something I think I said just go up there and slam dunk it, and that's what he did, and he made it. So those kind of stories make you feel good, and there's a lot of other ones that you did something to motivate them. Brady Soden, he started some, he played a lot as a freshman basketball player, but it's kind of like Shea went through this year. You start thinking about how many games freshmen play. If they play freshman ball, they play JV ball, they play varsity ball, and those guys that's the first time they've gone through a high school season, and that high school season, winter season, is the longest ever, and so they get worn out, and they're not going to play as well as maybe a senior would throughout the season as consistently. And we had some trouble spots in there, but Brady stuck with it. I kept my faith in him, and look what he did for us. And he was a solid player for us. And Quentin Jorgensen, my golly, he did so many things for us on the cross country course, and he's a good tracker too. And he was a good kid for me. I think that he kind of found himself in cross country, and now he's a Duke Law School guy. So that's pretty cool. And some of the kids that to go through, I go back. I talk about Todd Fuelberg too. I mean, he some of those guys on that first team. Those guys are guys who had to step up and do a lot of things. The Stednitz boys. They were excellent people, and Spencer now is running the cross fields, coaching state champions in track and at Gretna, and he's going to move on to Millard South, or Elkhorn South, I think next fall, and hopefully get a coaching job there. But those are people who've done, and the girls along the line, there's a lot of them too. I mean, you just start looking at what we had, and I could go through the list and again tell you about each one that we could sit here all day long and talk about. Yeah. So I've just been, I've been given a great gift to be able to be at Wayne and coach kids, and even there's some guys. Judd Geese sent one. He said, I think I ran varsity once, but I came to practice the first day, and I don't know if I've ever run 2 miles in my life. I think we went 5 or 6 that first day, and I went home and threw up and went to bed at 7 and got up at 7. I thought I was dying. So, those are good stories to think about. I think that, but he made it. He did a good job. And the guys always came back, and they were one, a family, and they cheered for each other. They cheered for the girls. And one of the people even said that, you would even, instead of coming right home, take us to football games on the way back. They thought that was good for, team camaraderie and just all across the board. So I thought that was kind of cool to have somebody say that.
Yeah, it was really neat that the kids presented you those letters at the athletic banquet. I thought that was a really touching tribute to you, and I don't know if you've had a chance to read all of them yet, but I'm sure that there are a lot of great memories that those kids have of having you as their coach over the years.
It's been. I sat down and I read most of them last night. I'd read a few the first night, but I couldn't get through them, so I couldn't see. My eyes were watering too much. So that's last night, and lo and behold, I was reading those, and the Celtics came back and come ahead. So then I got to sit down and that's something positive. I wasn't even watching the game, and I'd look up and they were 21 down, and the next thing I know they're within 5, and so I said, this is great. My team's coming back while I read these papers. I'm going to keep doing that. So, and it was positive. There's a lot of good stuff, and the kids were talking about, and a lot of good times. And I know there's things that, one of the things that you go through is you gotta be careful with as coaches is how you deal with kids and what you say to them, because they'll take it as gospel and they'll tell it to you, 10 years, 20 years down the line. Remember when you said this to me? I'll go, okay, I hope it helped you. and sometimes it has, and sometimes, I said, well, wait for it to happen. And if it, it hasn't happened yet. So those are some, things that you try to give kids something they can live on, and it's all about learning for life, and hopefully they can take it and make it a positive and make something good out of it. Yeah,
that's really neat as an adult to have that kind of impact on kids, and I've been very fortunate to have had that on a different level as a newspaper guy. I've had a number of kids come up to me over the years and say, I remember when you took that picture of me in the paper or wrote that story about me. And I remember one kid, he was a wrestler at Stanton, and his junior year he lost in the championship. And I interviewed him afterward, and he was really disappointed. But he said, I said, well, what, you got one more year left. What's your goal for it? He says, I'm coming back here and I'm going to win this stupid thing.
Yeah.
And then he came back next year, and he battled because he was a lightweight and he was battling weight all year, but he ended up winning the state title. And afterward, he hunted me down. He says, "You remember when I told you?" I says, "I remember it." And I still see him a lot to this day, and inevitably that conversation comes up. So those kids do take what that interaction with adults to heart, and it's something that I'm sure inspires them to do other things in their lives.
Oh yeah, definitely. I agree. I mean, they're just kids will come back and it's good just to see them, shake their hand, give them a hug, whatever, and know they're doing well and moving forward, and whatever I can do to help that, hey, that was cool. That's good for me. It makes me keep wanting to do this.
Yeah. We're talking with Rocky Ruhl, the athletic director here at Wayne High School. A longtime coach is going to be retiring at the end of this school year, and we're going to talk more with him here on the Voice of Wayne America podcast. So first off, if you've seen your kids' sports photos in the paper, you know that you can get a reprint of those photos and thousands more with Mikey C. Productions. We offer a variety of sports photos taken of local and area athletes during the school year, and we'll also have some summer sports photos to share for you as well. You can get a digital download or print your favorite photo, and you can even get your favorite photo printed on a coffee mug, a deck of cards, or even a cell phone cover. And if you want to see what a good-looking cell phone cover looks like, stop me sometime and I'll show you mine. It's one of my granddaughters. She's an awesome little girl, and it's a beautiful photo. And of course, it's a beautiful granddaughter, so I might be a little biased on that. But check out the wide variety of photos and options available at the Mikey C. Productions photo website at mikeycproductions.smugmug.com. That's SMUGMUG.com. Get your favorite photo delivered today. We're talking with Rocky Ruhl here on the Voice of Wayne America, and Rocky and Sylvia, his wife, are both retiring at the end of this school year. And I know this has been a lot about you today on this program, but I know you and your wife have been together for all these years, and you're kind of going out the door together. And I know you probably got a lot of plans for retirement. What are you guys' plans here after June 15th?
Well, the thing is, we purchased a chocolate lab. So right now, Charlie is in training. She's at camp.
You never stop coaching.
She's at camp. So Charlie's probably more money spent on Charlie than in camp than our other two kids, and you can tell who's spoiled. But and that's what the trainer told us. She definitely is spoiled. So she's smart, stubborn, and spoiled. So she's got the 3 S's. And I said, "Where's that S come from?" That's Sylvia's name. See, so but anyway, no, we're planning to have some fun with her and do some things. We're looking at traveling a little bit. Spring training is something I want to do. I keep asking Sylvia some of the things where she wants to go and that kind of thing, but most of the time she does like the sports area and likes to follow me to different things, and we do go and have some fun, and we're just kind of planning not to plan because we just want to see what's happening and what our next step is. She lives by a plan. I sometimes do. In administration, if you have a plan, it's usually destroyed in the first 10 minutes of school. So so I don't plan near as much as what she does, and she keeps me organized and on the straight and narrow in terms of my piles. If you've been in my office, you know that. And she at home, I don't get to have too many piles. So she's the thrower, I'm the saver, and we'll probably have to do some of the cleanup stuff at home and the tinkering around and do some things on our house. And it's just going to be one of those things. We'll see what happens as it goes. And it's time for me to give her back some time too, because of all the time I've spent here, and a lot of Sundays the kids would come up and that would be time with the kids where we'd shoot baskets and that type of thing. And but Sylvia took care of the kids, and she waited on her master's degree, until the kids graduated, because she wanted to be with them as much as possible. But she's done a great job of supporting me and being a coach's wife and an administrator or teacher's wife too. So I'm happy for her and proud of her, and that's, I guess, something keeps us together that way. So she can, I don't know, she can handle me. She can handle anybody. I know that.
And I know you're still going to be involved in some school related, or at least athletics related stuff. I know you've been involved in some state organizations and some national organizations as well. So
Yeah.
so you'll at least keep your hand in high school sports in a certain capacity.
Yeah, I'm very involved with the Nebraska Coaches Association, helping out there. Darren Boyson is the executive director, and he talked me into, or asked me, and I guess I said yes, to running for a position on the National High School Athletic Coaches Association board. And so I'll be up for, I think it's called kind of like third vice president or whatever they call it. So you're guaranteed 5, maybe 6 years then on the board. So I'll be right involved in that if I get elected. Otherwise, I'm on the board right now as the athletic director, sports chair, and I have another 2 years on that seat if not elected. So I plan to stay involved, and it's been fun. I mean, that's where you see people, your peers, and you get to talk to them and talk stories and everything about what's gone on, and everybody cries in their milk a little bit about, oh, if this kid would have done this and this kid would have done that. But it's the journey. It's not always that championship. It's the journey. So that came from another one of my. I think Grant was one of those who said that too. He said, we didn't win the state championship, but the way we got there and where we went, it was fun. So that's pretty awesome, and that's what it's been for Sylvia and I. And we'll just see what happens going forward.
Yeah. When you look back on 30 years here at Wayne High School, I mean, if you could explain the last 30 years to somebody who doesn't know Wayne or doesn't know the school or what your presence here has meant over the last 3 years, how would you explain that to somebody?
I don't know. I just like to be involved and help people, and sometimes I think what I could do to help somebody else and to make their day better, that's what being at Wayne High School for me was about. I know some of my personal work I'll put aside to make sure, okay, this needs to get here, or this needs to get there, or this student needs my help, whatever it is. That's kind of what I want to be remembered for, that he would do that for you. So I don't know, maybe it was wrong, but it's worked out pretty well, and I think that I just I sometimes the old saying, I want to be known as a good guy, that type of thing, and there's a saying out there, the good guys finish last, and in this situation I don't think so. I think I've been blessed to have a good situation, and I've been honored to have people honor me and say thanks, and it's made it all worth it.
Well, I'll tell you what, as somebody who has worked with a lot of school administrators and a lot of athletic directors and coaches over the years, it's been an absolute pleasure to have been working with you these last 8 years here in Wayne, and of course my years in the Norfolk paper along with that. You're definitely one of the good people in this profession and in this community, and it's going to be a lot different next year. Not being able to walk into your office and maybe give you a bad time about the Yankees or something. But you've been a fantastic coach and fantastic administrator, and it's been an absolute pleasure working with you these last few years, Rocky.
Well, Mike, I appreciate that, and that it's a big thing. I mean, it's one of those things where working with you as a sports writer and that type of thing, and to get along and to get, we both want to do what's best for the kids, and I think it's made it a great relationship, and it's worked out well, and I appreciate all your help and what you've done for Wayne Schools too.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what. I think Wayne's version of Johnny Carson is right here in the building. It's gonna be tough to whoever fills Rocky's shoes. It's gonna be a tough job for them to do that. But he's set a great standard for this school and for this community. And again, congratulations on 30 wonderful years, and best of luck to you and Sylvia in what lies ahead.
I appreciate that. Thanks a lot.
All right, that's going to do it for this week's edition of Voice of Wayne America, and I want to thank Rocky Ruhl, the retiring athletic director and coach here at Wayne High School, for taking time to talk on this week's program. And I'll ask you to check back to WayneAmerica.com as we continue to tell the stories of the people who make this the best town in all of America, and that's right here in Wayne America. Have yourselves a good week and have a safe and happy Memorial Day weekend, and we will see you next week here on Voice of Wayne America.